the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
And we welcome you into this Wednesday afternoon. Hope all is well. A lot of interesting news developing today, including maybe a possible replacement for Mark Emmert at the NCAA. Oliver Luck of West Virginia, father of Andrew, moving to Indianapolis. I wonder if the Suns play with the Colts had anything to do with that. He'll be number 2 at the NCAA. Many think he'll take over. He was the West Virginia athletic director, also a member of the College Football Playoff Committee. So things are happening there. Also reports that could have Mike Bobo heading to Colorado State. Would that be a reason for the Georgia Bulldog Nation to be sad or rejoice? More speculation about Steve Spurrier losing a few more recruits or at least decommitments. We'll get into that. Plus a very extensive guest list. Marcus Spears, the big swagoo. He'll drop by sooner rather than later. Kelly Hartung live in Tuscaloosa. We'll check in with the Georgia situation, and later on, Chris Felica with ESPN's College Game Day. We'll have him pick the SEC bowl games 1 through 12 in terms of confidence. There he is. The one and only. This is all that's left. Early this morning in our studios here, we taped a SEC Nation event preview show. Joe Tess and the Heisman Trophy winner, they're long gone.
Long gone. I got a feeling when they blow all of this up, Paul, it'll just be me, you, and John left standing.
Yeah. No. I went outside to check something in my car, and there was the stretch limo for Tebow and Tess.
They probably on a private jet right now flying over the Pacific.
Yeah, we went to one airport this year. They were like, well, I said, well, that's Tebow's, that's Tess's.
It actually looked like a funeral with all the cars in line, police escorts. I kind of like it because you get to where you're going fast. That's probably the number one perk hanging out with Tebow is you get a police escort. Do you know the story of? This is Marcus Spears, by the way. Oh yeah, what's up, y'all? What's up?
Did you hear the story at the SEC championship game? All of this, we did a 3-hour show. Half of it was at fanfare. Then they moved us over. So we all go, and there's all this police. I mean, I don't know. You and Tess were in the front part. Tebow and I were in the back. So Tebow gets in the back of the cart. I'm getting in. The guy pulls away. My head smashes into.
I thought you had a concussion.
I mean, I was a little bit concerned.
You were dingy a little bit?
I was a little bit, but once Tebow's in, it's like president's in, boom.
Boom, let's go. POTUS has arrived. I tell you what, when you got on that golf cart and hit your head, I really was about to jump on the driver.
Were you up in the front?
Yeah.
He said, are you okay? I'm like,
he had hurt my little big brother. So it was bad.
But the most important thing,
Tebow was on.
Tim was safe.
Yeah. If he would have hit his head, we would have had ambulance, we would have had helicopters, we would have had the whole city of Atlanta in state of emergency.
Yeah, I mean, we would have chartered a plane to Mayo Clinic.
Absolutely. No, they would have brought the doctors there, Paul.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure anyone. Finally, later that night, our bosses heard about it, and they started saying, are you okay?
Yeah.
12 hours later.
That was a day ago, guys.
Remember when Tebow had the concussion at Florida? I mean, it was like the entire world was.
The world stopped breathing.
Yeah, and we're not here to criticize Tim.
Yeah,
we're just stating facts.
We're just stating facts, baby. No criticism. Love you, Tim.
Well, before we get too deep in the weeds, a week from now will be Christmas Eve.
Yes,
and we've seen some of your little ones this year starring on SEC Nation.
The little swaggle.
Not to give away any, but. You look lighter in the wallet right now.
Yeah, I'm a little. Yep. I'm actually sitting on my pants right now. Man, it's different now. Christmas is so different now for kids because it's all technology.
Yeah.
I used to look forward to toys, basketballs. Now it's like my oldest daughter, Makari, is 7. She asked me for an iTouch. I didn't even know what iTouch was. I knew because it had an eye in front of it, it was from Apple.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what iTouch was, so I looked this thing up. Like $400. Who asked at 7 years old for something that costs $400? Like that's norm. That's the norm to kids now.
I wanted like.
Yeah, give me a basketball.
A toy truck.
I literally wanted a basketball and a football every Christmas when I was a kid. because that's what all I wanted to do.
So do they? I mean, we used to go to the mall and sit on Santa Claus's lap. They just send you an email.
No, we'd rather stay at home, Dad. We'll be at home. You and Mom go sit on Santa's lap for us.
Have you ever been a Santa?
I have, man.
You'd be a good Santa.
I was a Santa. One year I did a charity function for when I was playing for Dallas, and I was a Santa. It was fun. Had a bunch of kids.
So that's the oldest. What about
my son in the middle, the little swagoo? He's big in the monster trucks.
Okay.
So he asked for a sensible gift. He's just not smart enough yet
Hope he's
to go
not
to the technology. He got about a year for his older sister to rub off on him. And then our little 21-month-old, she'll be the one to get the little kitchen and all kinds of stuff.
Has Mrs. Swagoo put a list up yet?
Miss Swagoo has put a list up. Miss Swagoo actually is
She's cool.
The closest worker to Santa right now.
She's cool.
Dad checked out at Christmas probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to end the suspense, I gave Marcus my Alabama Crimson tie today. So
I'm representing the University of.
That's your coach.
Hey, look, I'm happy.
He may be my daddy, but he's your coach.
That's your daddy. That's my coach. I can separate from him. You can never. You'll take that to the grave. I'm happy for them, man. They represent the SEC.
Yeah.
Did a great job, but yeah, man, I'm excited to. I don't know if I'm as excited to wear the color or the tie because the tie feels so good. So during the show, people, if y'all see me rubbing on my tie, I'm kind of having a love fest with it. It feels good.
It's a good looking tie. Good looking outfit. Is that part of the new Swagoo line that will be available next year?
Coming to Tarjay.
I know I'm supposed to talk about the news of the day, but whenever I'm around Marcus, I just kind of lose.
Hey man, we gotta have a good time. Paul, you know that's my number one rule. If we're not having a good time, we're not having a good show.
Yeah, and we did the SEC Nation show today, and I don't want to wax poetic, but I had never met Marcus until last April. I think we met up at ESPN. And, we started doing shows together, and we did the commercials, and here we are at the end of the season.
Here we are, man.
Great
relationship.
They're offering you a big deal to return, and I asked one of my bosses, Bob Rauscher, I said, so what about now? He said, we'll get back to you. He said, well, you just
talk about that later.
He said, you just go to the next game, and we'll call you.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, man. The greatest thing about this season is that I have a new team. And I told you guys earlier this year, I was like, man, I'm so glad I'm in a team atmosphere with great people. And hands down, the number one question I get, and you would think it would be about Tebow, but how is Finebaum? And I think our relationship has resonated with people in the SEC, and they see the genuine spirit that we have with each other, and it works. I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy being around you. My one philosophy is, if I can meet a person in every different element and they the same, then I can get along with that person. Or at least I know who they are walking in the door. That's what I respect about you more than anything. And then, our little jokes about food. And,
Well, I learned something about you early on, and it was a good lesson. I came home from L.A. We were out there in July taping some commercials. And, I didn't play in the Dallas Cowboy. I didn't understand all that. Yeah. So we had, these were long days, because you had to start early. I'm not asking anybody to fill a star for us. We had limos pick us up.
We do okay.
We went to Hollywood, but still. So I had the first shoot the first day, and I think it was the second day. It was your we went to some butcher shop, and so Tim and Kaylee and Joe and I taped our segment, and then yours was going to last a couple hours, and I kind of looked at these guys and said, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock. I said, there's a beach waiting for me. And we saw you later on. You goes, where'd you guys go? I'm like, what do you mean? He said, I thought you were my teammates.
Yep.
And at that moment, I understood what you were about.
Yeah, because it wasn't, I was poking at you guys, and I understood we had stuff to do, but that's my mentality.
Yeah.
Like I'm a ride for the team at the end of the day, and we it's been better ever since. I gave y'all a hard time.
Oh, no, but it was a great learning experience because I figured, hey, my job's done.
My job's done. Let's go.
I don't need to stand there and twiddle my thumbs while.
No man, or in Kaylee's instance, a woman left behind.
No. But we were quick to jump, though. Venice Beach was waiting.
It was waiting. And I understood it. But we had to get that corrected because if we were new, we didn't really know. Look, let's just wait on each other when we needed.
And we did, rest of the way.
Yeah, rest of the way.
Six months later, we're still together. Quick break. We'll talk to Kaylee, another member of our team, coming up here in a minute. She's in Tuscaloosa, and I don't know how long we can twist Marcus's arm to hang around, but
I'm hanging around. I'm here for the day, baby.
We're having a blast. The Big Swagoo on Twitter, MSpear96, for those of you listening.
Booyah.
You get some life's lessons from Marcus Spears.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
Kaylee Hart.
Lil.
Yeah, there she is.
Hey, Lil.
Kaylee, you know that you probably can't see him, but Marcus is sitting next to me. We welcome you to our program, and it's cool to see you down there in a pretty familiar place.
Yeah, good to be with you guys. Sorry I'm not there with you in Charlotte, but Tuscaloosa was calling my name, so here I am.
Well, what's the buzz in T-Town right now? I'm sure things are fairly quiet, but looking forward to 2 weeks from now.
Fairly quiet is right. You know, the guys actually got a 10-day break following the SEC championship. You know, they fit in workouts when they could, but got a long weekend. A lot of guys went home for the weekend. It wasn't until yesterday that they were back on the practice field in their pads. And Blake Sims told me the leaders were calling guys out. They were doing their best to recapture all the momentum, all of the energy that we saw that team harness down the stretch. You know, we all remember what happened a year ago after the Iron Bowl loss, and then, you know, they weren't all that excited to go play Oklahoma in the Sugar Bowl. This team knows what that's like, and they don't want that to happen again. They want the energy and all of that momentum to be right back where it was as they finish the season strong. And Blake Sims, the other leaders of this team, doing everything they can to have that vocal presence and make sure everybody understands what's going on here.
Sis, I know you've been in Tuscaloosa quite a bit this year. You said they got back to work. What was Coach Saban's approach? I know he kind of, when I was there, my experience with him was he tried to ease guys in, not to make it bigger than what it really is. Was that his approach, where the guys everybody kind of calm, cool, collected, getting back in the swing of things?
Yeah, absolutely. So the guys have 7 practices, if you count the one yesterday, up until they break for Christmas on December 22nd. So Nick Saban's approach here through these 7 practices is that the first 3, it's like going back to fall camp, back to the fundamentals, work on the little things. He doesn't want to overload the guys. He doesn't want to over-prepare the guys. So the first 3 practices are all about them, make sure they're in their best conditioning shape because, you know, as far as they're concerned, a long weekend off, that's still 3 days they weren't working out. So Nick Saban sees need to ensure that the conditioning is back to peak performance. Then the last 4 practices before the Christmas break, that's when they zero in on Ohio State. That's when the game planning is in full effect. You know, right now, Cardale Jones, that's not a name you're hearing these guys talk about in the hallways. They are focused singularly on themselves for now.
Kaylee, I do want to ask you, so much has been made out of an incident that occurred the other day in Little Rock when we finally heard from Lane Kiffin, and he made fun of Nick Saban's height. Any scuttlebutt in the hallways about whether Kiffin has had to, you know, go to his room without food for a week?
I saw Kiffin walking down the hallways, so I don't think he's been locked up anywhere. But, you know, as Nick Saban addressed in his press conference yesterday, he said, you know, that's why we don't let Kiffin talk to the media. And I think that, you know, one of the things I've learned about Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin's relationship is that, you know, Nick Saban says a lot of people try to make it something that it isn't, you know, but the fact is they have a very honest relationship. Nick Saban told him from the get-go, you know, I'm going to tell you how I feel. Don't take it personally. And then we'll move on. And as far as Nick Saban's concerned, Lane Kiffin has over-delivered on all expectations. And in this role, you know, he's only asked to do certain things. So many of the things that could have caused problems previously, PR and whatnot, you know, those aren't parts of Kiffin's daily responsibilities. But I think all in all, the Kiffin Saban odd couple relationship is fully intact. And I think they both know what they're doing when they take the barbs back and forth.
Have you heard any excitement about winning the SEC championship and having the possibility to win a national championship from these guys? What's been the talk of amongst the players when they think about the opportunity?
You know as well as anybody that nobody in this building is going to admit to looking beyond the next game.
Yeah.
That would be against everything that Nick Saban preaches. For these guys, it is about focusing on this next game, focusing on Ohio State when they do get into that full game planning mode. But, you know, Nick Saban has that saying, be where your feet are. So it's again, just like we heard the week of the SEC championship, it's the start of a new one-game season. You win this game, yes, you advance, but first you've got to win this game, and you can't look ahead, or else you risk something real bad and not getting a chance to actually play in that next game.
Kaylee, one last question. I asked you about Lane Kiffin. I am curious, is Kirby Smart still working in Tuscaloosa? Because with all this talk about Will Muschamp, I thought Kirby had left and Saban was about to shut this program down.
Kirby Smart is present and accounted for today. I can verify that. No, he's still in fact here, and that defense is surely going to work. I think again it goes back to the thought that right now the focus is on this team. You know, so the defense, well, yeah, they only really have a game and a half of Cardell Jones to look at. They're not focused on him or on the film yet. And, you know, Saban has come out and said that he believes philosophically Urban Meyer and Ohio State and Tom Herman, they're going to do what they do regardless of who the quarterback is. Now it's just Kirby Smart's job to figure out what to do with a quarterback that you only have a game and a half of film to work on. So, you know, maybe he is just holed up somewhere dissecting play by play a game and a half.
Give Kirby, both Marcus and mine, the best, because he's the invisible man. We'll see him in New Orleans. Kaylee, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Great stuff. Kaylee Hartung in Tuscaloosa. And I say that jokingly because, Will deserves all the attention. He's an outstanding, and you played for him and certainly, you know, Kirby. But I've heard people talk about Muschamp showing up at Auburn as if Alabama just doesn't have anyone down there anymore. Kirby's no longer part of the team, and he and Nick make a pretty good team.
The latest news is always the big news.
Yeah, sure.
And obviously everybody was on pins and needles trying to figure out where Coach Muschamp would end up. And when he went to Auburn, that team instantly gets better on defense. I mean, that's the perception, and that's what has happened throughout his history. But look, Kirby Smart and Nick Saban together have been tremendous on defense. And, you know, no football team coached by Nick Saban is not going to have a lot of Nick Saban influence on the defensive side of the football. But you look at Will Muschamp. When I was at LSU, he was the coordinator,
sure.
But I saw Nick Moore. You know, so these guys understand.
How did that work?
It was a good working relationship. They had at times they had different views on what we should do and things like that. But I think, you know, a lot of people, I think what people don't understand about Coach Saban is that he's always willing to learn. And I don't know if people talk about that much, but, you know, his assistant coaches, it was an open door policy. It was if you're seeing something, and it really makes you a better football team, because sometimes just from his view, just from a head coach's view, having to check on the offense during certain periods in practice and then coming back to defense, coaching up certain guys, seeing what guys do better than other guys. Your assistants are the ones that really evaluate guys all the time. You know, my defensive line coach in college and in the pros, he spent all the time with the defensive line. So his input about the guys and what they did best, it bode well when he had that conversation with Coach Saban. And just like Coach Muschamp, defensive coordinator, he was always on the defensive on the field, seeing what guys do best, seeing what things work, what we couldn't do, what we weren't picking up fast enough. And you know, and Coach Saban would want us to know everything. He would want every guy on defense to know every play, every position. And I guess Coach Muschamp was a lot of a buffer between that, and also he knew his stuff. You know, so.
And one thing else about Saban, he did this last year with Lane. He brought Kiffin in. I've been told that for this game, Saban has turned on a defensive wizard who's retired to to look at Ohio State film just for a fresh set of eyes to say, okay, what is your perspective, and then we'll match that with what we think.
Well, you got to look at it. These guys hadn't had a chance to. They didn't watch Ohio State during the year. They didn't. Nothing in Alabama's preparation had Ohio State involved in it. And I think what it does is it gives. Look, he's been known for it. He brought Peyton Manning in to help with certain things, and that's what guys do. You tap into the knowledge from everybody that's doing great or has been great, and that's one thing that he does well. And I think when you are in this position where you have a little bit of time to prepare for a team, with having to focus on getting your guys ready to play again, it's a lot that goes into that. So having somebody else do all of that evaluation while you have to run conditioning programs, get guys back in the swing of things, timing with quarterbacks and receivers, it sits well with most coaches because that extra set of eyes, like you said, it gives you a little bit of an advantage and a little bit more film time to understand your opponent. And we know that he wants to know everything about his opponent when he goes into the game.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
If you're about to leave the television or the radio, don't go anywhere, because this is a moment we've been waiting for about 3 weeks for. Marcus Spears with us in the house, and Charles is next.
Oh, goodness.
Good afternoon, Marcus.
What's going on, Charles? How you doing after that Iron Bowl, man? Last time I heard from you, it didn't sound good.
That's in the past. You like
Okay.
Finebaum. You like Alabama. You're bragging Alabama mover, and all y'all do is live in the past. That's over with. Done with.
Boy,
We're
you
moving
gotta
on.
stop.
We got
I mean,
real
Charles, you gotta
mustache.
stop
We're going to
holding
move on to
grudges.
better and better things. We're going to be the number one team in the SEC and in the state of Alabama and in the nation.
Charles, you sound like a broken record, my friend.
Well,
I ain't a broken record. Let me tell you something. It's going to come to we got the Gus Champ train going now.
Gus Champ.
hey,
That's
can y'all
right.
please not call him Gus Champ?
Why
That's
not?
not going to sit well with him.
I don't care. It's Gus Malzahn and Will Muschamp. Gus Champ.
There you go.
I
There
tell
you
you what
go.
I want to
And by
say.
the way, Charles, I mean, do you feel good?
Charles,
I mean,
every time you call here, I sense some animosity in your voice, like you want to do
Paul
something to me.
Finebaum makes me feel that way, man. He's
Oh,
such a
okay.
damn
All right.
okay, let me, Charles, let's get right to let's cut to the chase. Last time you were on, you threatened my good friend, the big swagoo here.
Yeah, it was.
I sure did. I meant every word I said.
Charles, see,
I don't
I was
back
about to
down from
say,
nobody.
let's go ahead and clear the air. Let's let everybody know that we in a better place, and now you want to brag about you threatening me.
It don't matter whether you believe me or not. I'd give you a country boy ass whooping.
Charles, I cannot wait to meet you.
Charles,
Well, I ain't gonna get
Charles,
to that.
are you watching
I'm
this?
not going to have this job no more after we meet, Charles. I guarantee
I ain't
you.
gonna-
Charles,
I ain't
are you
gonna-
watching this or listening? You do know what Marcus looks like?
Yeah, I see him right
At
now.
your peak, Marcus, what was your height and weight? With the cow?
6'5", 330.
330.
Oh, God,
Yeah.
no. Bigger than all the hard fall, man.
Charles, listen, man, let me go ahead and get this. Let me go ahead and get this
You
put
leave
to
a
bed.
pentagram when you hit it, Marcus.
I'm gonna put this to bed, Charles. Charles, you do not stand a chance in the world of Marcus Spears, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's
It
what
is
they say
not
about
even.
Alabama, but they gonna
Listen,
get-
it's so easy to talk when you're 1,000 miles away, man.
Hey.
Look, I'm on Twitter every day with people that talk that I never meet, but
Get me up there.
Charles, I will get you up here. But, I mean, the point is, Charles, what are you, 5'8"?
I'm 5'9", 200 pounds of hard muscle.
ain't no way you 200 pounds. at
Charles,
5'8".
let me help you for a second. Do you realize this man sitting next to me
Oh man.
for nearly a decade in the NFL lined up? I mean, being a defensive lineman is not a friendly position.
Charles, you got to be a little crazy to
I mean,
play NFL football,
you
man.
go into war on that
Man,
line,
I'm
aren't
a
you?
little crazy to be a Dad
I mean-
Charles real fan. You can't tell by talking to me I'm a little crazy.
Charles,
All right.
what did you play football?
I can't tell that.
Charles, did you play high school
Man,
football?
I played baseball, man.
Oh, you played
Football was a sissy game. Baseball is a game, man.
What position did you play in
Well,
baseball?
why are you not calling
I
about
played
Alabama,
shortstop,
Auburn
too.
baseball?
Huh?
Why you don't call about Auburn baseball?
Walk out, but I didn't get a scholarship. I didn't play much.
Okay, so Charles, you're 5'4" and
I'm 5'9",
and weigh
200
and weigh 200 pounds, and you're going to line up against a man who's
Charles, Just stop. Let's
I know
just
where
stop,
your
Charles.
weakness is, Marcus. And I'm
Charles,
gonna
shake my hand over the radio and TV.
What is your what
let's
is
end it.
Marcus's weakness, Charles?
below the belt.
Below the belt? That's every man's weakness. Charles, that's every man's weakness, man.
So Charles, just make believe here, okay? Charles, slow down. Make believe you guys are together. We would never let this happen. What's your first? I mean, Marcus could just say, take your best shot, and
Yep.
and you'd be done.
No.
You'd break your
Marcus ain't
hand.
gonna get no shot. I'm gonna be bouncing around that ring like Roberto Duran used to. He ain't gonna see me coming. I'll be like Cassius Clay. I'll be dancing. I'll be faking. I'll be butterflying.
I was about to say, don't use Roberto Duran. Last time I saw him, he checked out.
What's your best move in a guerrilla battle with someone like this?
With Charles?
Yeah.
Man, I'll body slam Charles.
Oh, you won't get your
I'll
hands
pick
on
Charles up and body
You
slam
ain't
him, man.
big,
He want to
fat,
get in the
slow.
ring with me. He'll be
You big,
outside
fat,
the ring.
slow.
You know what, Charles? You ever watch any of those Mayweather specials on HBO when them dudes talk? They try to act all calm, and then closer to the fight, they want to start talking noise about, I don't think Mayweather this, I don't think Mayweather that, and then they end up getting knocked out, and then at the end they say, man, he's just the best. That's what Charles will be talking. That'll be Charles. That's his response.
I mean, is there any way to make this a fair fight? I mean,
if he bring an army with him,
Let me get serious. I'm serious.
if he brings some people with him, I got people too though.
yeah, Charles, slow down. You there, Charles? Charles, listen, I mean, I've met you how many times? A dozen times?
Yeah, a dozen times too many.
I mean, Charles.
You're Finebaum.
Charles,
I'm a homer.
Charles, you couldn't whip cream.
I whipped your butt a couple times, but huh?
Charles, let's sit down and have a bite to eat, man, and try to get this thing figured out, man.
This is gonna be my last call, Marcus. I won't get to talk to you no more.
Why not, Charles? Your phone service out?
I'm quitting the show.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
I wouldn't have called today if you hadn't been on.
Okay. Well, Charles, we are really gonna miss you. Okay.
Well, I'm serious. I do a job for you, Paul Finebaum and ESPN. I'm the most entertaining call on the show.
That is true.
You are definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Full time don't get paid.
Charles, don't stop calling in, man.
You get paid. You done got your big fat contract. Well, I ain't got mine. Paul, I'm tired of working for nothing. I quit.
We'll take a break. At least we don't have the fight now. Marcus Spears, a very entertaining segment. A few more minutes, and Marcus will let him go to the gym and start working out.
I gotta get ready for Charles.
Don't go anywhere.
I 5'9", 200 pounds of hard muscle.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
I hate to go back to the pickup.
Oh man!
But that was I would have to say we've only been on the air here since July. That may be my favorite moment,
Dude, it was nobody was around, and I was so embarrassed.
So what happened with the hunting the rest of the day? Since you were, I mean, that wouldn't hurt you, the hunting, would it? I mean, would that attract deer?
No, I wish it did. I'd be peeing all over the place. But no, they scrammed. They saw it. They was like,
I'm surprised you just didn't open fire on them
they
while
was
you
like,
were on
that's
the
a
ground.
bigger animal than we used to seeing around here. We got to get out of
It's
here.
too bad there weren't any dogs around. They could have rubbed up against you.
Rubbed up against me. It would have been a love fest going on out there, man. Coyotes was out there though, but they didn't come around.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the people on radio. That was just in our little. Was that just in our segment on television?
Oh, they didn't hear the story?
Oh no.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't know if we can
tell
tell
it again.
We got about a minute.
So I'm at.
Yeah.
I go to best hunting story. I go to South Texas. I'm hunting big time deer down there, and I get to my stand, my tree stand. I mean, not my tree stand, but blind. I climb up the ladder, get up there, and as soon as I get in, I got to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so I always take a cup with me. So I did the number one in the cup. So I'm sitting there looking, and the roof on this blind was a tin roof. So I'm sitting there and it's quiet and you zoned in, you're looking for animals. A crow lands on the tin roof. and literally almost gives me a heart attack. So I like jump and I kick the pee cup. So the pee is dripping out the bottom. I'm like, I can't, the hunt is over. So I get down out of the stand, and as soon as I get down out of the stand, to my left is a feeder where it spits corn. So as soon as I get out, I see deer at the edge of the brush, and I'm like, oh, let me get down. I'm trying to hide. Paul, I laid in the pee, man.
Laid in the pee cup. And for those who didn't hear it, that's how I got the nickname P-Town.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast.
Welcome back to the program, and we have said goodbye to Marcus Spears after 3 extraordinary hours. We've had various segments with him, but none would top today. So it was a great way to begin to wind down this year, 2014. We talked about the Bo Pelini story, which is breaking at this hour. Nebraska issuing a very strong statement, but the words won't make any difference. That relationship has long been severed, and you couldn't get Bo Pelini back to Lincoln, even to move. He'll have a hard. This reminds me a little bit of when Kiffin left Knoxville. I mean, it was just burning bobbleheads and bonfires. Anyway, we welcome in Chris Felica to our program from ESPN and College Game Day. Chris, I don't know if you've had a chance to read the Pelini story yet, but sometimes you just can't make stuff up.
Yeah, how about that? I think it pretty much just reaffirmed everything that people thought throughout the course of the year, the relationship there. And I don't know if anybody quite thought it was that bad, but that was I've never seen anything like that. That was just simply unbelievable. And you know what? I mean, you may not agree with Bo, but at least he laid it out there and made it clear where he stands and what went on behind the scenes, at least from his point of view. And wow, yeah, I don't think he'll be headed back to Lincoln, Nebraska anytime soon. I don't think he wants to, quite honest with you.
We are going to talk some bowl games with you in terms of the SEC and your confidence level, strongest to weakness. You've looked at this like no one can. So why don't we get some perspective on you? We'll do this in various pieces. We're going strongest to weakness. Is that correct?
Sure. Whatever way you want to go, I can go strong to weak, weak to strong. You tell me. I'm a follower, not a leader.
Someone tell me which way we are. Okay, well, they're telling me that they like strong first. Save the weak for the last. Your strongest picks from the SEC field, and there is plenty to choose from.
Well, there are 12 of them, and the game that I feel the strongest about the SEC team winning would be Arkansas. I think Arkansas going down to Houston in the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl. I like the way Arkansas got better as the year went on. They built up more and more confidence. Brett Bielema is staying there, turning down overtures for other jobs. I think he will get this team motivated, focused, ready to play. I think they'll be excited about going to Texas and facing an old Southwest Conference rival. The Texas offense struggled for a good part of the year, and I like Arkansas to go down and beat Texas down in Houston.
I happen to agree with you. I think there's so much on the line for Brett Bielema, and that would be a great way to end an incredible finish to the season. So that's number one. Number two would be?
Number two would be Missouri. I know Minnesota was a good story throughout the year, playing a lot of people well, pulling some upsets along the way, but I think the Missouri defense will be focused, be able to shut down a one-dimensional attack led by David Cobb, the Minnesota running back. They're really not a threat to throw the football. I think there's a lot of speed on the Missouri defense. I think there's a lot of speed on the Missouri offense. And Missouri hung in there as well as anybody could really have expected them to hang in there against Alabama in the SEC championship before ultimately giving up a lot of points down the stretch. But I think here it's a game. I think Gary Pinkel's team is playing with house money at this point, and I think they'll go out with a nice January 1st bowl win down in Orlando.
Number three on the strong meter, or depending on how you're counting them, you can go either way. What's next?
I would say Florida against East Carolina. I think I know Florida might not have much to play for, but I think it's a chance for a lot of guys to improve their draft stock. I think it's a mismatch in the trenches. I think Florida should be able to run the football at will. I think they should be able to pressure East Carolina quarterback Shane Carden and shut down that offense. And it's not exactly where the Gators thought they could wind up but when the year started, but I think they'll come out and they'll play a pretty motivated football game, and I think they'll win.
Your next game is Auburn and Wisconsin, and it's probably not too hard to figure out why you're so high on Auburn.
Yeah, I think maybe Wilson Woolmouth's presence there will have a positive effect on their defense. I think the way Wisconsin finished the year, I think they'll want to put a better showing forward. But I think there's too much speed on the Auburn offense. I think with Duke Williams back and the way their offense is played, I think there's just too much offense in this game. I think a high-scoring game, and I like Auburn to beat Wisconsin.
Number 5, the biggest game of the SEC schools, Alabama and Ohio State in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, again, I have it 5, and I know it's the biggest spread of all of these, but I do see scenarios where Urban Meyer with Ohio State as an underdog, I think their offense could put up points, even with Cardale Jones with the deep ball. But ultimately, I think Alabama will make a play up front. I think their defensive line, the rotation they use there, will be able to get to Jones and confuse him in his second start. I think Alabama ultimately will win the game, but it would not surprise me at all to see Ohio State make a pretty good game of it.
The next one in Nashville, LSU and Notre Dame. This sounds like a game from yesteryear, and it may be from yesteryear if you're Notre Dame.
Yeah, I have this at 6, and the more and more I think about it, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Notre Dame win this game. I know Brian Van Gorder's defense gave up a lot of points as the year went on. They just couldn't stop turning the ball over offensively. But I think Golson now, Malik Zaire is going to get some run at quarterback for Notre Dame. LSU's one-dimensional offense, and I know they nearly beat Alabama being one-dimensional. It seems like from a Vegas point spread, it seems like a lot of points to lay, and maybe LSU's gotten better as the years gone on and these kids have grown up. But wouldn't surprise me to see Notre Dame hang around this game. But if I think of all the SEC teams, I mean, if you're basing it on pedigree and just talent, you'd have to put LSU here in this 5, 6, 7 range.
Next game, the Chick-fil-A game on New Year's Eve in Atlanta. Really an intriguing matchup. Ole Miss with a lot to prove. TCU, the biggest snub in the college football playoff. What happens?
Yeah, TCU, I think if you're saying certainly the best 4 teams of the year, TCU would be among the best 4 teams I've seen this year. But I like Ole Miss in this game. I think defensively it's a good matchup for them. I think their secondary will be able to contain the TCU wide receivers. I think on offense they'll be able to do just enough. I know the Trey Will injury was big, but they've gotten big plays from Sanders and other guys on offense the last couple of weeks. They took out Mississippi State in a very motivated game. Hugh Freeze staying, I think that will have them excited and ready to play, and I like Ole Miss in this game.
Next up, A&M coming off of a very disappointing ending against West Virginia.
Yeah, 2 teams where they both really fumbled down the stretch. Clint Trickett may not play for West Virginia. Really struggled at Iowa State without him. Who knows where A&M's head is at this point. Defensively, they give up a lot of points. I think it'll be a pretty high-scoring game. I could see this. Any of these games from here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 down, I think are coin flip games. But I can see A&M winning. I can see West Virginia winning. I can definitely see a lot of points, that's for sure.
Next game at the Orange Bowl, Mississippi State coming after a stinging loss, as well as the defection of Jeff Collins, taking on Georgia Tech.
Well, you just hit on a wrap there. Stinging defeat in the Egg Bowl, number 1 late in the year. Thought playoff maybe, didn't happen. Lose Collins, Mullins' name's out there for other coaching jobs. Georgia Tech, this option offense, yes, Mississippi State has a chance to prepare for it, but they got a lot of guys on defense that might be looking at the next level. This might be a situation where, you know what, I'm more worried about April and May. Yeah, I'd like to win this game, but I'm not going to go out there and sell out and maybe risk getting that cut block. I don't think Mississippi State offense can do the things that Jameis Winston did to Georgia Tech. I think Dalvin Cook was a big part of the reason why Florida State beat Georgia Tech. I like Josh Robinson, but he's a different type of back than Cook, and wouldn't surprise me at all to see Georgia Tech pull the upset in this one.
In the Belk Bowl, Georgia limping into this game, Louisville, and another one of these ACC, SEC games.
Yeah, I actually like Louisville to pull the upset in this game. I know the Bobo rumors going to coaching rumors are out there, losing Floyd not playing. Grantham, I'm sure, will be very motivated at Louisville to have his defense play very, very well. Can Hudson Mason beat those corners? And that defense, which has played very, very well this year, had Florida State on the ropes. I think Petrino coaching against an SEC team, he'll want this game badly. If you made me make a pick in this game, I'd pick Louisville to pull the upset again. This isn't where Georgia thought they'd be when the year started, and I think that'll have a lot to do with this game.
Nor is the Duck Commander Bowl in Shreveport, where South Carolina thought they would be. Their fans obviously are being very silent about enthusiasm. What happens between South Carolina and your alma mater?
You don't think the 784 tickets of the 8,000 you don't think that's showing a lot of excitement?
Not too much.
Can we go back to the old days when Spurrier played Miami in a bowl game back in the 2000 season? Can we have those two teams again? Well, I think. I mean, South Carolina, I see very little reason to expect them to show up and play very well in this game. I mean, maybe it'll just be Spurrier throwing up a bunch of plays and razzle-dazzle throwing the ball and just a whole lot of gimmicks that'll give the chance. But I think at least Miami has a lot to play for with the winning season. They let Florida State beat them 3 times, and I think now that they've kind of had a chance to kind of digest and refocus, I think Ty and Duke Johnson in his final game will go out and play well, and I think Miami will beat South Carolina.
A lot of enthusiasm in Tennessee under Butch Jones, but not a great matchup here based on what I'm hearing from you against Iowa.
Yeah, I think Iowa will be a very physical team for them. Iowa, again, played well as the year went on. And it seems every year Kirk Ferentz in some of these ball games, his teams just find a way to hang around with with some teams that maybe are better athletically. Last year against LSU, they were right in that game till the end. They beat Georgia Tech in the Orange Bowl a few years ago. So in these January bowl games, they typically play well. I don't know if Tennessee's quite ready to win I mean, it's not the most marquee January bowl game ever, but I don't know if Tennessee's ready yet to beat a team like Iowa.
Great stuff from the one and only Chris Felica, the senior researcher for ESPN and for College Game Day. Chris, thanks so much. Merry Christmas. We will talk very soon.
Same to you. Hope to see you down in Dallas as well.
This is the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast. Call of the day.
You're welcome to say whatever you would like. That's what this program's all about.
On the Paul Finebaum Show.
Larry is up next in Alabama. Larry, you're on with Marcus Spears.
Oh, awesome, man. How about it, Marcus?
How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing good, man. You know, Charles from Reeltown, he needs to listen. I've been afraid to pull a gun on you, afraid it misfire. You know?
That's funny.
I wish you would smack him around. And would you get I-Man when you get through smacking him around? Smack I-Man around. I got a little money on the side for you.
I ain't got I-Man yet.
Yeah, take him out, Jack. But you know, I was a policeman. Ain't nobody your side that broke the law, Marcus, when I was working.
That's what I'm
I always
about.
let them, oh, have a nice day.
All right,
you know what I mean?
Go ahead about your business, man.
Yeah,
I'm going to turn my eyes.
You robbed a bank? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Yeah,
Don't speed.
Don't run over. Just don't run any stop signs when you're on your way out of town.
Yeah.
Look down at your phone. Look down at your phone and say,
Charles,
"Sir, did I stop you?" I'm sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, people forget that, Larry. I mean, you still got to put the cuffs on the guy.
I had one guy, he had out of state tag, man, and I pulled him over and he unfolded out of that car about 6'6", 300. And he said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I hope you have a nice stay and leave now." Thank you for visiting our town.
Now, Larry, that's when you were a policeman, but now that you're a civilian, you get on the first tee with you at the local golf course, and you're in for a fight, aren't you?
Well, yeah, you get kind of toasted. You get that.
Larry's been known to have a few scuffles on the golf course.
Oh man, Larry, how does golf turn into?
Larry, tell Marcus one of your best stories about you and the guy rolling down the hill together.
Oh yeah, on the 17th tee box, man. He wanted to take a mulligan, and he's young. He's about 30, 33, 34. and I'm about 6'4" and skinny, and he's go telling me he's gonna take a mug, and he started pushing me, calling me names, and it's on, Jack.
It's on.
And it was a big steep embankment, and I grabbed around the headlock, and we rolled down that embankment, man, just to push him. But I blacked both his eyes.
Now, Larry, one more story. You were watching the which game were you watching a year or two ago with one of your buddies, and you got into it with him?
Yeah, my late buddy, Greg Holler. Yeah, man.
Was that the Alabama-Auburn game, or was that another game?
It was Oregon-Auburn, man, and when Oregon intercepted the ball, I said, "Go, Ducks," and we was drunk. He jumped up and started talking smack, and it's on, Jack. We rolled over the coffee table, spilled beer.
Alabama now.
Boy,
yeah, I got him in a headlock and made him say roll tide.
Larry, man, you gotta talk some of this stuff out, man. You can't keep putting people in headlocks, man.
I know, man. He said, roll tide.
You know, where I come from, Marcus, there's no talking.
Ain't no talking. You go straight to it.
It's
right?
on.
When I was young, we used to put a leaf on your shoulder. If you knock it off, that means a fight about to happen.
That's right. It's on, Jack. I mean, I'm going to tell you something, man. It's just like anything. Auburn, man, if I run across somebody, Albany, man, I'm ready. I do stare downs in the grocery store. So you stare at them, you know.
Yeah.
And I had a few takers, you know.
Hey, Larry, let me ask you this. Other than Auburn, what other fan base would you most like to get it on with?
Oh, Auburn. Well, I don't know anybody I hate worse than that, Paul. I don't think there's a country I hate worse than Auburn.
Okay. I just want to make sure that LSU wasn't in that group.
Oh, hell no. Don't get me there, brother. I don't know none of Marcus. He's no, Marcus.
Larry, we good, man. We good, brother.
Larry, I've never really thought of you as a bright guy until tonight. Hey, thanks, Larry. Good to hear from you, man.
Thank you for listening to the best of the Paul Finebaum podcast. Tune into the Paul Finebaum Show every day from 3 to 7 Eastern on the SEC Network or on the ESPN Radio app.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.